Now we'll practice Supta Padangustasana. So have a strap nearby and lay down on your back. Adjust the flesh of your buttocks so that it moves away from the lower back towards the feet. Have your knees bent and feet flat, and then extend your arms overhead. Lengthen the arms and lengthen the trunk. Lengthen the front of the spine. Relaxed long belly. Open rib cage. Soft in the back of the throat. Neutral pelvis. And then grab your strap and lasso the right heel with the strap. And start to extend your right leg so that it's up at 90 degrees. And if this is difficult for you, you can keep your knee bent. And then start to extend the left leg. Make sure that the left leg is internally rotating just enough so that the midline of the front of your left leg is pointing straight up. And then think of the center of the left thigh grounding and the center of the right thigh moving away from the belly. Stay long and even in the belly. Shoulder blades slide down the back. Heads of the humerus bones ground towards the sticky mat. Open in the chest as you breathe. Long spine, open chest, extended legs, and reach the right heel straight up towards the ceiling. The top half of the right thigh is pulling away from the right side of the abdomen. The outer right hip is pulling away from the right waist. Internally rotate the left thigh and ground it down. Extend through the inner left foot. And then you can start to let the elbows bend out to the sides and pull the right ankle a little bit closer to your head as the top of the right thigh moves towards the left foot. So that right leg is like a seesaw. If the foot moves towards the head, then the top of the leg moves away from the head. Enjoy the stretch here, long spine. And then release, and we'll switch sides. But before we take the left leg up, just rest the strap on your belly and extend your arms along the floor overhead, lengthening there. Just take a breath. And then lasso the left heel with the strap, kicking the left heel up towards the ceiling. Again, taking a bent knee if that helps you keep your pelvis neutral. You don't want to tuck your pelvis here at all. And then extend the right leg long, internally rotating the right leg a bit, grounding down through that right thigh. Pull the outer left hip away from the left waist. Shoulder blades down the back, long spine, relaxed long belly, elbows wide. Kick the left heel up. Ground the center of the right thigh down. Ground the center of the left thigh away from the abdomen. So that left waist and left side of the abdomen is very long. And if you start to pull the left ankle a little more towards the head, make sure that the root of the left leg pulls away from the abdomen towards the right foot. Long spine, open breath, relaxed throat, relaxing in the groins. Find an internal rotation in the legs and relaxed groins. A neutral pelvis here as much as possible, active in the extension of the knees. And then bend your knees, feet flat. Bring your arms up and overhead to extend through the elbows and extend through the waist. Nice and even in right and left sides. Now grab your blocks and come to the wall for a variation of downward facing dog. So bring your sticky mat towards the wall and then set up your blocks so that they're shoulder distance apart. And then take the heels of your hands over the edges of the blocks, hands and fingers spreading wide on the blocks. Feet are hips distance apart, and then bend your knees and lift your hips way up and back to come into a down dog position here. Stretch the legs up from ankles to knees to hips. And then bend your left knee a lot and straighten the right leg, bringing the right heel back and down. And then bend the right knee and straighten the left leg, bringing the left heel back and down. And continue to walk your legs like this, elongating through the armpits, pulling the pelvis up and back, off of the rib cage, off of the shoulders, off of the hands. Pressing the hands forward into the blocks, and just keep walking out through the legs. Bringing one heel back and down, and then the other. Feeling the shifting of your pelvis as you walk out your legs and feet. And then finish by lifting up through both thighs and reach both heels back and down. And then bend your knees to come out of the pose. Now we'll practice a calf stretch in Uttanasana. So have 2 blocks ready and start to roll up your blanket. So make a nice even blanket roll here, a tight roll. And place the blanket roll onto the sticky mat horizontally as you see here. And then with your feet hip distance apart, step the balls of the feet up onto the blanket roll. So the heels are grounded on the sticky mat and the balls of the feet and the toes are up, they're elevated. And then take your hands to your outer hips, shoulders back, long spine. And then bend your knees and crease at the hips to fold, taking your rib cage close to your thighs at first. And just rest in a forward bend here. Now, hands on blocks, folding deeply. And you can play with how much you bend your knees. So straighter legs will give you a different stretch than bent knees. And both are good. So play with that here. And take many breaths here to breathe into and stretch different fascial lines in the calves, in the backs of the knees. Bending the knees a little more or a little less. And then breathing into whatever position you choose. And if your hands reach the floor, then you can place the blocks to the side. And come forward a little more onto your hands, taking the weight forward. That will deepen the stretch. Walking those hands or fingers a little bit further forward. Pull the inner heels down, grounding the center heels down. Steady breath here, breathing into the sensations that arise. Long spine here. And then hands to hips, shoulders back, reach your chest forward to come all the way up. And then step off the blanket. Now we'll practice a foot stretch with a strap. So place both feet into the loop of the strap and then tighten up the loop so that your ankles are quite close together. And then turn the belt around so that the buckle is behind your Achilles tendons. And then swing your legs to the side and underneath you so that you're on hands and knees. Your ankles are tied together, your shins are next to each other, knees are next to each other, and then tuck your toes under, and you'll see how the strap will help keep your ankles together here. And start to sit back on the heels now, enjoying the toe stretch, enjoying the stretch on the bottoms of the feet. Lengthen the spine from bottom to top. Steady focus here. Shoulders back, extended arms. Breathe into the sensations here, balancing. Steady breath. Spreading the soles of the feet. And then come on to hands and knees and swing your legs out to the side and in front of you and remove the strap. Now we'll practice Janu Shirshasana, so have a blanket folded that you can sit on. And sit your buttocks down onto the blanket and stretch your legs out in front of you. And pull the flesh of the buttocks back so that you can sit up tall on the center of your sitting bones. Fingertips down, shoulders back. And then bend the left knee out to the side so the left sole of your foot comes very close to the right inner thigh. And use your fingertips on the floor to help you point the midline of your torso directly over the midline of your right leg. And then continue that action to twist fully to the right. So the left hand is on the right knee, right hand is on the blanket, twisting to the right for a moment. And then start to come forward and grab onto the outer right foot with your left hand. The right fingertips are on the floor to support you, and start to lengthen your rib cage forward, lengthening the front ribs as much as the back ribs towards the right foot. Relax and release the left buttock back and down. Think of the whole belly sliding over to the right so that the midline of your belly comes directly over the midline of the right thigh, and then lengthen your belly forward even more. Pull the right thigh bone back towards the hip socket. Ground the right thigh bone down. So the deep low belly slides to the right, and then lengthen both sides of your rib cage straight forward, directly towards the right foot. Using your hands to help you. And then inhale and come all the way up to center. Take the left knee up to the ceiling, and then stretch your left leg long. And then pull the right knee out to the side, connecting the right sole of the foot to the left inner thigh. Both sets of fingertips on the floor now to help you start to turn your body so the midline of the trunk is in line with the midline of the left leg. And then continue this as a twist, twisting the belly around to the left and the rib cage, right hand to outer left knee, left hand on the blanket, turning. And then see if you can use that space you made to come forward, grabbing onto the outer left foot with your right hand, and let your belly recede and slide over to the left. So the midline of the belly is in line with the midline of the left thigh, and start to come forward even more. So the belly recedes and slides to the left and lengthens forward. Sides of the waist lengthen forward as well. And let the right butt cheek release back and down. And continue to find more space in your trunk as you fold forward. Pulling the left femur back towards the hip socket. Grounding the left thigh bone down. And then bend the right knee up to the center, and then come out of the pose. Now we'll practice Shavasana, and we'll do what I call a wide Shavasana, with the limbs nice and wide. So set yourself up by taking the flesh of the buttocks away from the lower back, and have your head resting on a blanket here, so there's some softness under the head. And then stretch your arms out wide and stretch your legs out wide like a starfish. And just enjoy the spaciousness of this Shavasana, letting the limbs be expansive and relaxed at the same time. And deepen your breath here. And let your next exhalation be very slow and gradual and smooth. Relax and release.